Hi guys, this is the MMA Diagnosis Podcast. I'm your host Hammer Mir. Today I have with me a former Cage Warriors champion and now current Oktagon Flyweight champion, Sam Urai Creasey. How are you?
Man. Good, thank you.
Yeah. You know what's funny? You know your name. So I was like, okay, Sam Urai. I thought it was like some Japanese, like Urai or something. The meaning. I was like. And then I think on your Octagon video that you were like, it's Samurai.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. All this time I've been following you for years. So, how did you get that nickname?
Well, you're not the first person to ask what is an Urai. What's an Urai? I keep on having to tell people. No, just put it together. It's Samurai. It came about kind of by accident. I started growing my hair out a few years back. Eventually it got long enough that I should tie it up in a bun, and occasionally I grow a little wispy Chinaman beard, and somebody said you look like a samurai, and it's kind of stuck since then, so I've gone with it, and it's still here now.
Okay, so what's your background, like ethnicity?
I'm half Chinese and half English.
Okay. So the name.
Yeah, Oriental warrior, kind of.
So, I didn't know. MMA now.
Mm-hmm.
What's your background? Because it looks like. What's your recent fight? You stick in and out.
Mm-hmm.
You got a really good jab, and then even that hook set up, that jab. But it's a bit like a mix of like traditional and everything else. Like you're upright as well when you strike, and then you're grappling. I don't know if you did judo or Greco or you don't love Greco, but the way you're doing the upper body throws was like you've done judo or Greco. So what's your actual background then?
So my background is different to most. I guess I didn't start any martial arts till I was 21, and that was reluctantly. My brother dragged me into the MMA gym in Leighton Buzzard, which had just opened at the time. We didn't have like a recognised coach. It was just like there's a group of 8 of us, probably 8 of us who were like solidly training, wanting to improve, and had no idea what MMA was really. We were just trying to put it together over time. So my background is MMA in its rawest form. I don't particularly have a striking style, if you like. I'd favour my hands, as I've learnt to strike with them first, and then added kicks after people kept on kicking the crap out of my legs. The wrestling, so I used to play rugby beforehand, which probably give me like, I don't know, the basics of a double leg, kind of. And then I've just kind of worked on that relentlessly since to improve my wrestling, and obviously like the UK's wrestling over the years has been poor in comparison to America, Russia, Georgia, anywhere else. So we've had to kind of fix those holes. I think my wrestling's good now, but I have a tendency to implement more upper body takedowns anyway, really just from a safety aspect point. If I shoot on a double leg and I fail, get sprawled upon, get my head cracked, I don't do that.
Or you can get caught in a power guillotine.
Exactly.
I see that the whole fight. I was like, this. For people that whoever's watching it, when you get caught in a power guillotine, you have to give up your position. When I felt a power guillotine, I was like, yeah, I tapped that straight away. That move is actually,
that's one of my favourites. Like I've got a decent sprawl, but inevitably 9 times out of 10, if you shoot on me, I'm probably going to get your neck and make you have to bail on your double leg, and I'll make you give up position, so I'll take the top position off of the back of that. It's a bit of an equaliser in MMA. Like I've got a very good guillotine. I've got a world-class guillotine, and I'll get, I don't know, 99% of the population. If you fight me in MMA, I'll find your neck. So yeah, my background is MMA, put together over time, changed many different times through different variations of styles, through experience going out fighting. So the biggest change for me probably was when I met Vaughan Lee, ex-UFC bantamweight.
First UFC fight from Birmingham as well.
Really amazing.
Yeah.
But he's such a good man as well. But just when I got to train with him the first time, I got to spar with him, I realised I knew nothing. I knew zilch about MMA. I didn't know anything about striking. I couldn't touch him, couldn't lay a hand on him for six rounds, I think it was. And I was completely baffled by what he was doing to me. Because he'd be there 1 second, I'd have swung, missed the air, and he'd be somewhere else, completely behind me, throwing a kick out of nowhere.
When was this when you lot trained?
So this was when I was still an amateur. My wife is an accountant. She'd gone up to Birmingham to do a job.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I'll drive you up there. And whilst I'm up there, I can do some training.
So you went UTC?
Yeah, I went to the old school UTC.
Ayrton High Street.
Ah, yeah.
That High Street's crazy, right?
That was mad. I mean, I remember the first time driving up to it and I could see it in the distance, the big glass windows and the big sign out
and
the
they
front.
got Vaughan Lee standing
there.
I'm
like,
yeah.
Oh shit, I'm gonna go spar that guy. But yeah. So that was my entry into martial arts or the MMA world, and that's how I've kind of created my style, if you like.
Yeah, so talking about that, like that kind of gym now, back then, the modern equipment and everything, it was like, what, 2 floors, I think? Yeah.
3
floors, sorry.
3
yeah,
floors.
My bad. Yeah. What did you think back then? Were you like, what the hell?
So we trained in a basement.
Yes.
We trained in a basement, which was about a little bit bigger than this room that we're in now, right? Which is tiny, okay? And when I'd messaged Vaughan, I didn't even know where this gym was. But I went up there, and we went up the escalator, into the first floor, just looked at the sheer size of this place. And obviously at the time, I didn't know all of these fighters around were going to be so big. You know, Rocky was there, Yannick was there, Aaron was there, Dave was there. You know, good people, good fighters, and people that, you know, I still know now. But the facilities there were way beyond anything in the UK at the time, and like, I think I was blessed to have met somebody like Vaughan at that time, and have him allow me to go and train with him. And you know, he's a very good friend of mine now, and you know, I really appreciate everything he's given me.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know about Vaughan. Like, obviously Leon's gone to the UFC level, but Vaughan was the first guy, especially like, you know, in Birmingham and these areas. So everyone that knows MMA knew about Vaughan Lee because he was the first guy to get signed to the UFC from Birmingham. So that's for people that don't know, but yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a funny world because Vaughan was kind enough to come down and train with me around here sometimes for camps and that, and I'd take him to some gyms, and these people didn't have any idea who he was. And they were thinking, oh, right, this must be Sam's mate. I'll go easy on him. And then they'd be coming up to me afterwards like, who's this guy?
They're like,
how's he so good? I can't do anything. You know, and yeah, it's a mad world. He should be known. He should be known everywhere he goes. Do you know what I mean?
I remember when he beat the late Kid Yamamoto. Yeah. So another Japanese MMA legend. Yeah. When he beat him, that was a big win at that time.
Amazing.
Well, especially
well, you know, if you spoke to Vaughan, that was his idol. He went and trained. He went and trained out there like just a few years before that, I think, as well. And then to be matched up with your idol and to finish him in that fashion was mad.
Yeah.
You know, I can't believe I couldn't even recognize that kind of feeling.
Is that something you would ever like to do? Do you feel like you'd ever have the chance to do?
I mean, I would always say like my ideal fight is Mighty Mouse. You know.
Oh, okay.
You know, if you want to fight the best guys in the world.
I was gonna get into that. We were gonna get into that because obviously moving from that now, you've just won the Octagon flyweight title, right, against Aaron AB. That fight now, that was a rematch, so you won that handedly. Like, there was some moments, but like, even when he got you down, like I said, the famous power guillotine. You know what's funny? Firaz, I went to a Firaz Zahabi seminar, and he goes, when a wrestler gets you down, that power guillotine is a solid way of getting up or like countering the position, right?
Yeah, I'll always go to that. So I've got a good guillotine, and I can pretty much always get a guillotine if you dare to sleep on the grip.
Yeah.
So as soon as I was on my butt then, which I shouldn't have been, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
I went straight to the chin strap with the right hand, listened to Kev behind me telling me like, stick with it, and just made my way back to my feet comfortably. I mean, it was a dominant performance. It was a dominant performance. He had improved a hell of a lot. I think his coach said he'd put on some 4 kilos or something of muscle in between our first fight.
From Apple Music.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know where that's come from. That was random.
We got some music in there as well. We're gonna get copyrighted.
Yeah.
So
sorry. So that was a dominant performance. He gave me a lot of issues with how much he's improved from our first fight, if you like. But I'm not like other fighters. I don't have just plan A and then I'm lost. I'm so well rounded. It doesn't really matter where the fight goes, and I've got so many different styles that I can rely upon. That, you know, if you beat me with plan A or you negate it really well, that's okay. I've got plan B, plan C, all the way down to Z. I'm always going to be able to adapt to kind of any situation in a fight, and I think that's what that showed.
Do you feel like your background now of you, like I said, you just started in MMA and you started at 21, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because people don't realize how late that is to start MMA or any combat sport, but that kind of you see, you know, like when you start in MMA, I feel like, have you noticed like with jiu-jitsu guys, they can be a BJJ world champion and they can't strike, like they're so robotic, but you having learned both at the same time, you're fluid in striking and your grappling still on point as well. Like, do you feel like that's an advantage compared to certain specialists in a way?
I think it can be.
Then you got guys like Pereira. So
yeah. And it will depend on who we're talking about, right? I have a sheer like work ethic, which it's an amateur's work ethic still, right? I'm in the gym every day. I have to be kicked out almost every day. I'm way overtrained every day because I can't let up on letting somebody get ahead of me a little bit, which has obviously helped me massively and probably hurt me a little bit in performances sometimes. But I felt like specialists, you know, they obviously they have their chosen area where they want the fight to be and want to get it to early. And I found that probably the first 4 of my pro fights I won simply by being the well-rounded guy. It didn't matter where we went. And I fought guys who needed to get me to the ground or needed to keep it standing. And
you
when
can do both, so.
when I was comfortable in those areas, I don't know if they really mentally like were drained, but you know, I felt like I'm getting the upper hand here in each of those fights. So for every 10 seconds that they didn't get what they needed, I felt like, you know, that was a massive boost to me, and I was watching them falter in front of me. So I think it has been, you know, a really key part of my development as a fighter. But nowadays I see, you know, like MMA fighters coming through and they're already a step ahead than me. They've already put that whole game together and they're coming through as not specialists. They're coming through as MMA fighters. I think the first one really was Rory McDonald. Probably a little bit ahead of his time. Maybe he had too many wars a little early as well. And He for me could have been.
He could have been a champion.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was this close.
Yeah, I thought he would be the one because
He won the Bellator, but
but he started so young. I think he turned pro at 16.
Yeah, and then he got into UFC at what, like 19 or?
Yeah, and it's a lot earlier. Some hell of wars in there. I remember his fight with Carlos Condit early on. That was hellish.
He was gonna win, and then he got caught in the third round.
Yeah.
So
mad.
I was a big fan of Rory. So talking about that, we spoke about that now. Oktagon, now you won the belt. Their promotion is amazing. Like we were talking about before the interview, like their 90-second show and all them little things. They're becoming the next big thing now in the UK and Europe. So obviously, I know you want to continue working with them, but I gotta ask the big question on here. UFC 304 Manchester. We need to get you on. What do you think?
Yeah, look, listen. I always want the UFC.
About it.
I always want the UFC. That if anybody ever asks me a question, that is going to be where I want to end up. You know, and if it's meant to be, it will be. You know, I can only keep on beating people put in front of me. You know, and I'm sure there are a lot of guys out there in the same boat, right? I've seen the UFC let Paul Hughes slip away when that should have been a sign in for them. Jordan Vicenic is still sitting on the sidelines. I'm a little bit lost with how they've structured their signings recently, but I am always available and, you know, always ready to go. What I've got to do is pick up the phone.
Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, you heard it. We need you on, man, because Manchester's, it just makes sense. In my opinion, July, you just won a big fight, a lot of promotion, a lot of publicity, 19-5 record, solid record. And plus, look, let's be real. You're how old are you now? 36. You're not gonna get another. No, it's true, isn't it? Because they look at that as well. So
of course,
I think they need to get you on. I think we need to make a petition or something and get you on, because you're number one flyweight now. You're ranked number one flyweight on Topology in the UK.
Yeah,
I don't see what's an issue with not getting you on. So
yeah, I'm ready. I've been ready for a long time, but you know, if the opportunity is there, July sounds good. You know, give me any flyweight in the world, I'm happy.
You heard that, UFC, yeah? Okay, let's just say, UFC now, there's a lot of competition now. So one championship, PFL. You just told me your dream fight's Mighty Mouse. So is one championship a place you're looking? Would you sign to one championship? That's all.
I haven't really thought too much about that, honestly. I mean, just the prospect of fighting Mighty Mouse is such, like, that's a dream, right?
Yeah.
If I think of flyweights who stand out, I don't see a UFC flyweight who stands out at the minute. But when I think of flyweights who stand out, I think of Mighty Mouse every time. I think of him in the same position as GSP was, you know.
Yeah.
One of the GOATs, and you know, if I got that fight ever, I want that fight.
Yeah, Mighty Mouse, he's been doing a lot of work now, like, because he's been doing the gaming and venturing out. Did you see that fight he had with the mixed rule? With the
yes.
with Rod Tank. So like them kind of, that's what I'm saying. One championship would be a fun one, because you go, you're well rounded, right?
Yeah,
that mixed rule fight would be, come on, one round Muay Thai, one round boxing, 1 round MMA.
We could have some fun.
Did you watch the one with Akiyama and Nikki Holskin?
Yeah.
Why do they do that?
Oh, it feels a bit like Pride.
Yeah, but they did boxing, and then they did Muay Thai, and then they did the grappling. Last, I'm like,
Akiyama's never going to win that, right? They're just waiting for that big shot.
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't realize Holskin's background as well is he's fought at the professional level as well, right? Yeah. So, what about any other promotion? Like, on the PFL, don't really have a flyweight, right?
No, and you know, I'm the Oktagon champion now, so
yeah. So Oktagon continue with them.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to bring me a new.
They're getting bigger as well, so
yeah, absolutely. They've got that stadium show. They got one next week or the week after.
Yeah.
In Germany, and then they got another.
So
big
you're looking to fight Germany, and
who knows? Like,
Or you want to stay?
If I had an opportunity to fight in a 55,000 seater stadium in Germany against one of their guys, absolutely. What an experience. Go into that crowd, have everybody booing me. That'd be the best feeling in the world. I'm going to come out on top still. But, you know, we'll see what happens. I think they wanted to have 2 more shows in the UK this year. So, let's see.
Yeah, because you had the Cage Warriors stint, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you fought Shahidul Haq, right? Would that be a fight that you'd want back, or do you feel like...
I'd love it back. Absolutely, I'd love it back.
Yeah.
But if I didn't say that, you know, I should probably be thinking about retiring.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I've got to have confidence in my own ability.
So what we're thinking, you and Shahidul Haq, UFC 3 or 4?
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's do it.
Octagon 7. Okay, I think that'd be interesting. I think.
Yeah.
Because you're both top 2 flyweights in the UK.
Absolutely, and he's in the same position as me, right?
Both
waiting for the shot. You know, keeps on beating people in front of him. You know, and like a fight for him against me, that's a hard sell for him. You know, he's already beat me twice now.
True,
but you know, I'm still here. I'm still beating the people in front of me, and inevitably, I'm going to be knocking on that door.
You're on 3-fight-1 streak as well.
Yeah,
3-fight win streak. So, what do you think of Octagon though? Like, now that you've worked with them, like management-wise, you know, backstage, and what's your opinion on the organization?
Oh, really good, really good. A little different because I've been so used to my routine with Cage Warriors over the years. I knew how things were going to go when I got to an event. So this was a completely new experience and something I need to like kind of figure out myself. But I was well catered for. I knew who I needed to speak to for everything. And I was treated really well. I know they're a massive organisation on the eastern side of Europe and that. And I've seen some of the shows that they've been holding out there. They look amazing. And I just hope like the UK audience will build up over here as well, and we can create the same kind of thing. You know, they're a massive promotion, and you know, I want to be fighting in those big stadiums, and if we can do it in the UK, let's do it.
Yes, yeah. I think they're big. I went to the show in Manchester. I don't know. You know where that comedian guy?
Yeah.
So I went to that one, and that was crazy. That was that's how I know the production's good, because when I went, I've been to smaller shows and I've been to the bigger shows. It was up there. It's really alright. So yeah, UFC and Manchester now. Talking about UFC, I don't know if you saw like the last event, so they actually had a female announcer.
Oh no, yeah, I did see that.
Did you see that?
I did see that. What happened to the other guy?
They got his voice out.
Oh really?
Joe Martinez, you know.
Yeah, okay.
yeah. UFC. I feel like fighter. Let's talk about fighter pay, because fighters need to get paid more, right? And I feel like in the sport, like UFC now, I don't know, this is what they say anyways, that they're only paying 20% of their earnings to all the fighters, and they're keeping 80%, or I think it's even 10%. In NFL and all the other sports, major sports, they go that NFL, what they give is 50-50 or 51 to 49% ratio, where the fighters get paid and then the company gets paid.
Yeah.
What do you feel like needs to get done for there to be a change?
It's a very difficult question, because the market is the way the market has always been. You know, the top guys are getting paid well. Probably not as well as they should get paid, considering the sport that we do, what we put our bodies through, our brains through, our families through. And
it's like what I was saying to you, isn't it? Yeah. Fighters are like influencers that don't get paid well.
That's it.
So you got the fame, but then the money's not matching up to all the attention you're getting.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And like, I'm appreciative of what Conor Mcgregor brought to our sport and how many eyes he did bring, and that is probably the reason a lot of the top guys are getting paid so much better. But then you look at the bottom of the card, and all right, they've not achieved, you know, that level of success yet, perhaps. But you see the purses, and it's just well, that's gone. You know, you've got to pay for your training fees, your management, your coaches, to get extra flights, to get extra coaches to come there, and then, you know, your everyday occurrences, and that money's gone very quickly. So, you know, it's a massive discrepancy, I think, in the sport, and I think it should be worked upon. I don't know how. A solution, who knows? But, you know, I do see the money creeping up in other various promotions around the world, and hopefully that will start to level the playing field, if you like, and lead to increased purses for the fighters.
Conor McGregor now. A lot of people hate on him, but he's done a lot in that short span of the time. Did you hear about him signing with Bare Knuckle?
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to put some more money into that. Just having his face behind that as well, that's going to bring more money into them. I mean, you can critique Conor for his behaviour over the years. I mean, plenty do and plenty should. But you can't deny what he's given our sport, and that is, like, without him, we might still be stuck in the Stone Ages, if you like. There just wouldn't be the viewers. There wouldn't be. And it's because of him that we are where we are now.
So talking about you were talking about the pay for the lower card fighters, right? Mm-hmm. So I've heard this argument with boxers, but apparently MMA fighters get paid better on average than the average boxer. Do you believe that, or knowing that you're in the kind of combat sports? Do you get what I mean? Like
there's a different model behind a lot of that as well. Like with the boxing, I feel like you're kind of a prospect who's a ticket seller who keeps his O, and you are going to be at the bottom of the card or on very low pay until you get your record up to somewhere.
But you can fight like 8 times in the year, so it kind of makes up for it.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you lose your O, you're just another has-been, apparently.
Yeah, that's weird, right? Why is it like that in boxing? Do you feel like it was more of the Floyd Mayweather kind of effect?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you have a look to like your Chris Eubank days and that, how many losses did all of those guys have? And they're all unbelievable fighters. You know, there was never that issue with, well, if you lost your O, you're a nobody. That seems like apparent with the modern day boxer. They're written off as soon as they take a loss, and you know that's not how fighting works. You know, so that is why I do love MMA so much. You know, we fight whoever, anytime, any place, and the best guys do fight the best guys. That's just the way it goes.
They're talking about the record now. Yeah, because I've noticed like in boxing, like I'll give you an example. Like Max Holloway now, he's lost. He's come back. You've seen the win now with Gaethje. He's knocked him out. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
I feel like with MMA, like you can lose like 2 now and then win 3, and then you're back in title contention, and no one cares. The fans don't care.
No.
And then in boxing, we got that issue. Okay, moving from that. Legends MMA, so obviously I'm wearing the t-shirt, people. I don't know if you see it. Legends MMA, Luton. You're head MMA coach there, I believe.
Oh, Fass is the head MMA coach.
Fass is the head MMA coach, but you're like a kind of like.
I tried to run it with him. And like we go back and forth with some like discussions over fighters and the best way to do stuff. But
what's your role there then? Like, is it you coach or?
Yeah, I'm the MMA coach there, or a MMA coach.
Okay.
Fassel runs the whole thing.
Yeah. Is that him?
And you know, like the way that place is structured and with the community they've got, like Fassel is the leader anyway, right? He's been leading a lot of those boys since they're out of high school, you know, and they all look up to him. I come into Luton like a few years back, at another gym, and helped to push forward the MMA training, and then we're like an even bigger group now, and you know I'm happy to give my insight, my experience to everybody and try to give them some good good advice they can then take into their fights and that. And we're doing amazing as a gym, and that's thanks to the people on the mats and Faisal for getting it open.
They've been winning. Your team's been winning a lot lately, right? A lot of wins coming from amateurs, and then obviously yourself. Coaching now, how has that helped you with your training? Did you feel like that helps your game?
It makes me think more. When I'm coaching, it does make me think more about like specific positions and ways that we can, improve this kind of choke or that kind of takedown for me, for you, for the really lanky guy, for the really short guy, because not everybody has the same, mobilities, the same body mechanics. And so that makes me think a little bit more when it comes to coaching, which has helped me in my own game and that. I think I've improved technically quite a lot since I started coaching. But it's nice. It's just nice to watch some of these kids like coming through who they come in, they don't really know what they're doing, and then within 6 months they look good, and then within another 6 months they're ready to compete, and it's really like it makes me proud to watch them grow into martial arts, but then go out there and perform as well.
Yeah, I think what impressed me the most is the growth of the gym in the short amount of time. Because it's only been open, 2 years?
Yeah, something like that now. We've
and you've got
we're pushed on.
on.
You've got a lot of boys who want to fight, a lot of boys who want to improve, and we're going to get even bigger.
So if someone wants to fight at your gym now, what's the process to get to that? Is it all the coach's input?
It's all the coach's input. But really, if you get on the mat and we see how much you want it, that's really what it's about, yeah? Because I'll get a lot of people come up to me all the time and say, oh yeah, I want to fight, yeah? And then I might not see them for a week. Yeah, I get a lot of people like that. They all want to fight or like the idea of fighting, but actually when it comes down to it, and being in the gym, training their ass off, avoiding all of those social occasions, going to bed early, eating the right foods, bun that. I don't want it that much.
That's what I was telling Faisal.
Yeah.
I'll stick to podcasting. I just talk about it. Forget that. Yeah.
But you'll see it in the gym. Coach, can I do another round? So, the guys who want it, I won't have to be second guessing where they are. They'll be in the gym with me every session that I'm there. And not only that, they'll be asking for extra work. I got some real pain in the asses who are messaging me every day asking what I'm doing training wise because they want to come training with me. And I appreciate that because I can see how much they want to improve. And those are the guys who this is the sport for them. I see myself in them a little bit.
Yeah, so for anyone that's watching, only come to the gym.
Yes.
If you don't want a social life and if you just want to train, let's just do it.
No.
I'm joking.
If you want to fight, come to the gym, be in the gym every day. If you want to do this as a hobby,
come 3 days a week.
Please be part of the gym as well. But if you want to compete, I don't want to see you hurt. Honestly, I don't want to see you hurt. If I've got to go and see your mum afterwards, I've got to take you back to your parents afterwards. you got to be ready to go against some guy who's going to take your head off.
Like Sam.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm gonna get into some lighter questions there.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna get started. So are you a texter or caller?
Texter.
I'm
not.
I thought you were gonna say neither. I thought you were gonna say email or or letters.
Yeah, letters.
But what's one place you'd like to visit in the world that you haven't?
China.
Yeah. You haven't gone back home?
No. I want to take my mum. until
Oh,
my
okay,
mum.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So is your mum Chinese?
Yeah, my mum's
Oh,
Chinese.
okay.
She left, I think when she was like 6 months old or something. Her mum
Okay.
carried her across the water on her back
Crazy.
to escape, and then made her way to England and that. And
The mainland China or
yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's a mad story, but I want to take her back one day,
Okay,
whenever
yeah.
she's ready.
China, yeah. What's one place you like to live? Is China as well? Like, if you could live other than the UK.
I would say Greece. Yeah,
Greece?
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that was random. I didn't expect
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
Why-
Got a friend out there, a really good friend, and that
Okay.
has taken me to real Greece, not the touristy Greece.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's it's beautiful. The way of life is beautiful, and yeah, it suits me.
Okay, yeah. We are in the country, yeah.
Yeah.
Your tattoos now.
Mhm.
So I saw the Bruce Lee one.
Yeah.
You want to show that to the...
Yeah, there's
That's
Bruce.
actually a sick tattoo. So when did you get your first tattoo?
I got my first one. Maybe 18, maybe 19, something like that. Very young.
Okay.
I had that covered up now.
Oh, okay.
Or changed into this dragon thing
Oh,
on
okay.
my
So it was a
shoulder.
tattoo that you regretted.
I didn't regret. I just
Changed as a person.
yeah. I grew as a person, matured a little bit, and figured that
What was
wasn't
it?
really.
don't
It
mind
was
me
a,
asking.
it was a tribal piece.
Oh, was it a tribal piece?
Yeah, old school back in the day.
Okay.
But yeah,
I thought it was like a
turned
barbed wire. You know, the old school barbed wire one.
That's redneck, isn't it?
Yeah. Now I've seen people have them, like even around here. But yes, the one, like, do they all have a certain meaning, or is it just?
Yeah, they all mean a lot to me. Everything on the right hand side of me is to do with like warriors, fighting, that kind of spirit of war and ancient, warriors, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is the fighting side of me, and then everything on the left side is like either poetry or a quote or a saying or a meaning that is like close to my heart. I've got 2 poems that I wrote for my grandmother when she passed away. And then the piece on my chest is for my wife and for my daughter. And so it's kind of, it's a balance, if you like, for me. Like, because what I'm doing most of the time is training to be as violent as I possibly can be. And then in my time outside of the gym, I don't want to do that. I want to be completely non-violent. I want to be peaceful. Yeah, peaceful, give back. Just, take a second to not let emotions run to the surface too quickly. I see that a lot with other people. I spend most of my time calming people down. And so, yeah, it feels like it's a little balance of me as well.
Yeah. So your brother fights right as well, right? So how is it having like brothers? So we've got the Diaz brothers, we've got I can't remember anymore, but yeah, the Diaz brothers, the Edwards brothers, now we've got the Creasey brothers. Yeah. How's it training with your brother then? Like, how's that dynamic? Because did he get you into the sport?
Yeah.
So how is that dynamic?
So he's the best possible training partner, coach, mentor, accountability guy I could have. There's not that many flyweights around here where we are, let alone somebody as high level as him. He still kicks my ass on a daily basis, since he has done since we began in the sport. And so, just from that point of view, I couldn't have asked for a better training partner and somebody to keep me switched on, keep me sharp, and keep me honest, within my own training, but then in a fight as well. My other coaches, they're going to give me advice. He's going to shout some horrible shit at me, and he means it only out of love.
That's a good thing, yeah.
But he's got to be so totally blunt with me at times that I need to know, and I try to give him that back as well. it's difficult in fights. We're very, I'm emotional when my guys fight.
Yes, I can
I
imagine.
almost don't want him to fight when we're getting close to the time.
Yeah.
But then when he's fighting, it's horrific. It's every ounce of me wants to get in there and smash this other guy's face in before he does. But I know he's good. I don't need to worry about him. It's that like that emotional attachment still is it's a very difficult bridge to kind of deal with.
Yeah, because I can imagine like if both brothers can fight, like you know how brothers are sometimes you're bickering. It's kind of crazy, yeah. Both of you can fight, yeah. So like in sparring now, like how is it when you're both sparring? Is it like full on or is it quite controlled?
It can be controlled probably at the beginning of camp or if we've both been out for a little bit.
Yeah.
But inevitably, like we've sparred each other so many times now, if we don't switch on and
You're gonna get
go, either one of us is going to get hurt or nothing's going to happen because we can both see it way beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And like people will probably watch us spar and think, fucking hell.
They don't like each other.
Yeah. But honestly, I don't remember the last time either of us actually hurt each other from these spars. Okay. They just look physically like super intense, and people are like worried, perhaps, when they see us going for it. But I guess that's what makes us both so sharp as well. When we get into the cage, we've been tested like that, and nobody else can push me that hard.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, I'm gonna move from that now.
Mm-hmm.
So you said your dream matchup,
mm-hmm.
Mighty Mass, is what's your Mount Rushmore of MMA then? Like, give me a top 5 greatest fighters of all time, because I know you had Mighty Mass in that list, but
yeah,
I want to hear your top 5.
GSP for me is probably the number one.
Number 1.
And that's who I've modelled myself on for my whole career as well. Just from...
Not John Jones.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that. Let's go into your list. Let's go to your list first. I want to get to it.
So then it'd be Mighty Mouse for me. Then John Jones. Then Khabib. And after that, I'm here or there. I'll probably say DC.
DC?
Yeah.
Wow.
John Jones had his number. Nobody else did.
I thought you just said Anderson, but...
For me to watch, absolutely. But
okay.
Breakdown of skills and that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the most beautiful to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
I could watch him all day, but I could also watch somebody wrestle fucking all day as well and think,
so you don't think you got John Jones 3? I'm shocked with it. I'm actually shocked with it.
Yeah, I mean...
He should be number 1, really, but that's my opinion, though. Everyone's got their own.
He is.
I can understand
he is
why
what he is. Like, because of the drugs, the scandals that go alongside him.
Let's not get into that with the sport. Let's not get into that with the sport. Let's not get into drug testing in MMA, in the UFC especially.
Well, yeah.
So Paulo Costa, like, I'm not gonna a lot of guys like that are a bit shady. They've been passing drug tests, so
yeah, they look a bit juicy.
Do you know what I mean? So, do you feel like he's just fighting on a level playing field, or it's just because he got caught? It's kind of...
It's so difficult to say with John because those question marks will always hang over him now.
Okay, yeah.
And it just diminishes like everything that he's achieved, just that little bit. I mean, it doesn't help the way he behaves outside the cage as well.
But do you think that makes him a good fighter?
It doesn't make him any less of a good fighter.
But do you feel like
it just takes the edge off for me?
That's what makes him him, if you know what I mean. Like that kind of him doing all them things and then.
Yeah, I mean, winning. He's a wild guy. He is a wild guy. I mean, he's like a Conor.
Yeah, you can't. That's their personality, right?
Yeah, but then you saw Conor at the beginning, and he wasn't.
Well, he probably was, but he
did it, but it stepped and it stepped and it stepped and it stepped until the point where he's so over the top that.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But he's punching old guys for not drinking his
yeah. and I love Conor,
Yeah.
but I love him up to a point.
Which point was it when he had the pointer?
Yeah.
He had the pointer.
Where it fell off the edge almost, and it just maybe it crossed the line. Who knows what entertainment is, but for me, it's still a sport. It's still martial arts, and that's what I saw when I first saw him. I saw him like acknowledge victory, acknowledge loss, talk about these things, and not be so much just headline grabbing. You know, everything is a soundbite with him, and I get it. You know, every time he does, it makes more money. There's more eyes on it.
Do you feel like being a martial artist now in this era is difficult to promote? Do you get where I'm coming from? Because everyone's trying to act like Conor McGregor now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
there's only one Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
There's only one Conor McGregor, and like.
But I feel like if your personality is like that, you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. But if it ain't, don't try.
Do it. Yeah.
You're fake. It's terrible when you're fake. It doesn't work, and people don't believe it. Everybody bought into that. Fucking hell. People bought into the fact that they thought he was going to beat Floyd Mayweather. Why? Because he predicted all of these things beforehand. Because they believed in him. Because it was the way he sold stuff was real. Like when I hear some of these fighters talking, I'm like, what? Nobody believes that, bro. you know, it just it's a hard sell if it's not real. You know, and the martial artist angle, the guy who's
the GSP kind of let's talk about GSP. Like a guy like GSP now wouldn't thrive in this era. I'm not on about fighting skill wise. I'm on about marketing wise. That it's all about followers, and the more followers, the more opportunities you get from bigger promotions. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you're socially awkward, it's a hard time.
It's a hard sell. I've been told many times by so many different people.
Sam, call this guy out.
Call this guy out. Talk some shit about this guy. I'm like, yeah. But it's not real. And if you ever meet me in person, you're going to laugh your head off if you think I talk shit like that. I can't. I'm too nice a bloke. You know, it's a problem if it's not real. And so I just I bypassed all of that. Like, I'll be honest, I'm super confident. I'm going to beat any man on my day. But I don't need to talk any shit about him because I don't believe the shit that I'm going to talk about him.
Do you feel like you should get a manager? So, you know, like how Brock Lesnar had Paul Heyman. You should get your own Paul Heyman. He'll do all the shit talking for you.
You do it for me. Yeah. It's a different age. It's a different era. You see the influences coming through. You see from Conor's talk, his mannerisms, the way he was able to.
Yeah, he was so, like, I remember like in the gyms, like everyone was getting a pointer after he was winning.
Yeah, exactly. And
so he had a big impact.
He brought so much to the sport, but he brought a lot of fucking idiots as well.
Yeah, it's true. I agree with you. Yeah, like even like when after he fought Khabib, like a lot of everyone just started writing him off then, like in that way. So it kind of shows like a lot of fans are kind of fair with the fans as well. Where if a guy wins, he's the best. If he loses,
honestly, I can tell you that exactly the same with my career. People love you until you lose, isn't it? And then there's silence in the wind for the amount of phone calls that are waiting for you when you've lost, isn't it?
Okay, like, so you, speaking about that, so when you were cage warriors champ, was there there was a lot of attention, right? Obviously.
Yeah, everybody loved me. Everybody wants to be my best mate. This is honestly why I don't go out. I don't celebrate fights. I don't want to. I don't want to be around people who are there just for the good times.
For the good times, yeah.
I know who the people are who love me, who support me, and there's a lot of people who support me as well who aren't necessarily just there for the good times. But I don't need to just be, you know. I've seen this happen to quite a few fighters where they need to relive that high, and so they'll end up inevitably down a pub or in a bar because people are going to kiss their ass and tell them they're the man. Can you do this? Can you beat that guy? Can you do this? And they'll do this, and they'll keep this wave of high from a victory going for too long, and inevitably they fall into a bad place if they're drinking too much or just enjoying too many of the nice things.
Are you talking about Conor McGregor?
Yeah. Well, he can get away with it. He's got too much.
He's got too much weight. He can get away with that.
He's allowed. Pay people to just say
he's allowed
stuff about me.
Oh man, you never think like a MMA fighter would get that big. He's on celebrity status now, like right. He's gone past like even sports famous.
Nobody can replicate that even now. Like you see that level of intrigue doesn't happen unless Conor's fighting.
Yeah.
People are interested, absolutely. But that interested like a Conor McGregor fight? Nah, it just doesn't have the same buzz. Even if you got Khabib fighting, you got John Jones fighting, you got these guys who are superstars.
Yeah.
And the level just drops off. And it's because they all bought in to the gimmicks, to the entertainment side of thing that he sells, and he sells better than any fighter.
So what do you think of McGregor and Chandler then? Like, what's your opinion on that? Do you think Chandler...
Part of me looks back to Conor from however many years ago and still sees a straight left out of nowhere. Yeah. And then part of me sees him like plodding like he did from the boxing training, and then when he fought Poirier, like the footwork was different, the style was different.
I watched him against Poirier and I was like,
why is he fighting
what's
like this?
happened? Like where's the kicks? Where's the karate kind of movement? Where's
that
it's like he didn't believe in himself. It's like
and it would have changed. I guess injuries, perhaps.
Yeah.
Time, weight management. If he's heavier, if he's been practicing that movement, like he was a featherweight when he was moving like that initially, moved up to lightweight, but was still so elusive, And people were so worried about, he's going to side kick me, he's going to head kick me, he's going to spin kick me, he's going to hook kick me, and then crack, the left hand comes out of nowhere, and that little bit on his toes where he's just out of range and then cracking you back like he did in the Alvarez fight.
Yeah,
you know, I can see that still, but does that happen? Who knows? And I guess Chandler is a good fight for him in the sense that he will want to come and have a tear up as well. And he always gets
caught as well.
Yeah. So he's susceptible to that, and maybe that's why it makes sense for the UFC. But if Chandler was smart, double leg, keep top position, do nothing.
I think he'll struggle though, because even with Khabib, Conor did the best out of all them guys. Mm-hmm. He did better than Poirier, he did better than Gaethje, as much as people want to shit on him. He still got dominated, but he got up, he got up a few times, and I think if you can do that with a guy like Khabib, I don't think he'll have a problem with Chandler, but that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm...
Yeah, and that's a good possibility. But again, it's cardio, maybe are you looking back like...
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Because we're always looking at that as a performance, like, like, he didn't do bad, that... Khabib has got his style, just a blanket that covers you and drags you down, and you ain't getting back out, And he did, as well as we say, but that's a long time ago. And I see him on some of his videos and that, because I still buy in. You're still like, oh shit, look, he looks sick in this video.
5-second clip,
and then you'll see him, and it'll be like a little bit back to the boxing style where he's just a heavy and not moving his feet, and who knows? If I want him to win. I'd love him to win, but I'd love him to win and come back and be hungry for the sport, and not win and disappear for 2 years and then come back maybe when he's heavier again and out of shape again, and you know what? Who knows?
So moving from that, we talked about Khabib. Now let's talk about Islam. Islam's fight in Poirier. What's your take on that? Do you think it's just the same as?
Pretty much.
They're different guys though, like the way they fight, like Islam and Khabib.
They are different. different guys. I think Islam has better striking.
Yeah.
I don't think he's as good. Maybe he
I
is
feel like,
as good a
I feel
grappler.
like his control isn't as good. So you know when he's
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
ground,
yeah.
the way
Yeah,
Khabib
because you
has
saw
guys
him
down.
fight against.
Volkan-
No, what's his name?
Arman Sarukian.
Yeah, that's it. And you saw the scrambles.
Yeah,
Because
Khabib would never let that happen.
when he gets you, he's not letting you go because he can't afford to have it standing again and have the possibility of you clipping him with something. Islam doesn't have that same thing, which then he doesn't need that overwhelming, control that you can't get away just in case we get back to the feet because I've got way less of a chance there. So I think he's a more well-rounded fighter than Khabib, but his grappling is just not the same because there's not that urgency to keep you down, keep you there. I still think he wins. I think he'll take him down and beat him up, and he'll probably take his back and get a sub.
Yeah, but Poirier got a nasty knockout in his last fight, so
He is, but you just not got to play that game.
Yeah,
And Poirier is a really good boxer for MMA.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
So you just don't box with him. Islam's got lovely kicks. Keep him nice and long. Make him get complacent. Pick away at the legs, and then make Poirier have to step in, take him down. I know that sounds far too simple, doesn't it?
Far too simple.
But you don't fall into a trap of trying to box with him consistently, and don't leave your head in on a guillotine.
Do you see him finishing it, or?
I think so. Yeah.
What round?
3 or 4.
Submission or?
I think he'll sub him. I think it will go. Every round will play out on the feet a little bit, and then there'll be a takedown, and it'll be there. It'll stay for however long in the round. Poirier will get back up and then get dragged back down again, and by the 3rd, 4th round, it's very disheartening. He's not one to give up, but there will be moments where he has to do something now because he's down so much, and that's where mistakes are made, and that's where Islam, I feel, will capitalise.
All right. Before we end it, the big one is when will you be fighting next? When do you see yourself fighting next?
Honestly, after that fight, I fought 5 rounds for the first time, which was that was something for me. I had to also prove that to myself. I felt good. I went for a run afterwards. Took my belt. I had to go and see everybody out of the front of the show. So I could probably go tomorrow if I wanted. I mean, I got one little injury to fix.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, my fingers. That got bust in the first round, but it didn't work anyway, so it is what it is. And I'd like to go early summer, but if not, then they got that stadium show later in the year in Germany. I'd love to fight on that and get myself out there in front of 55,000 people screaming my name.
Okay, yeah. I think that's what that'd be fun. That would be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, gonna end it here. It's been a good one. Is there anything you'd like to say to the camera, to anyone or anyone watching?
Thank you to all my sponsors. Thank you to all my training partners, my family, my wife, my child. Everybody who supports me. You do. You mean the world to me, and I couldn't do half of this without you. And Dana, give me a call, man.
Dana, give him the 60 Gs. Where can people find you on Instagram and social media?
Hit me on all my socials. It's Sam Urai Creasey at whatever they are.
I'll put it in.
Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Hit me wherever. And I'll see you all soon.
Right, guys, you can find us MMA Diagnosis on all social media platforms. Subscribe to the channel, like it, share it. If you enjoy podcasts like this with Sam and many other fighters, this is the MMA Diagnosis podcast. I'm your host, MMA. Sam Creasey. We're out, people. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.